Hello, my name is Liam, and I'm 45 years old, living in Zurich at the moment, in Switzerland. Just recently I embarked on the grand adventure of sharing my life story with the entire world in a book called Paralien, not just transgender. So I figured I might as well also share a little bit of that story with you guys right here now through this video. I was born in 1971 in the body of a little girl, and my parents named me Stephanie. It was quite obvious to me in a very, like internal, instinctual sense when I was 3, 4 years old already that I was a boy, in fact, and so whenever I had a chance to be around people that didn't know me, I introduced myself as Stefan, making it quite hard for my parents to find me when they were looking for me out in the streets. Then puberty came along, and then of course all those societal constructs and, teachers, parents, your immediate surroundings telling you who you are, so, everybody perceived me as a girl, so of course that's how they treated me, that's who they told me I should be, that's who they told me I was. And of course, being a child, I believed most of what they said. I felt very strange inside of my own body, but I figured I was just a bit screwed up, maybe emotionally disturbed, not quite normal in some sort of way. And I got more and more lost, feeling increasingly like a stranger stranded in a very dangerous, hostile country, being stranded there, surrounded by walls, having no passport to get out there. That's what it felt like to be within my own body, and I was desperate. I looked down on myself and, pretty much figured, what on earth is this? Why do I have these boobs? Why did they grow? Do they belong to me? And even though I had all those feelings and I had that desperation, the entire time of my teenage years, I had no real idea what was going on with me. I mean, it was the time before the internet. There were not very many talk shows. Transgender issues were not discussed on the media. So I had no mirror to reflect myself in, nothing to compare myself to. And it took until I was 21 for me to accidentally pick up a book with short stories about transgender people and their lives. And as soon as I read that, as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh my god, this is me. This is exactly how I feel. This is what most of the problems, or the biggest problem in the last years, originated from. So I knew I had to do something, and that there was absolutely no way of not forging ahead, because I knew if I would just leave things the way they were, I would always be very unhappy, maybe end up killing myself, and life is just really too precious to risk that. So I rather risked it all, and started with hormone therapy and gender reassignment surgeries, and risked losing my friends, risked losing my family even. And it turned out it wasn't even necessary to be that afraid, because most people, when I finally came towards them, and said, hey guys, by the way, I'm actually a man, and would you please call me Liam from now on? Most people were like, oh yeah, we've always suspected, yeah, we've always had that feeling about you, it's totally okay. So that was really quite amazing. My dad gave me a shaver and a bottle of cool water long before I even grew any beard whatsoever. And so I slowly grew into my new body, kind of. But it was the right body for me, and I finally felt at one with myself and began to feel more and more self-confident, more happy. Job-wise and in daily life, really not a problem at all. There were a few instances where I didn't get a job because of admitting in my interview that I was transgender, but most company reacted admirably and simply said, hey, we like your personality, you're a great fit for the team, you being transgender or not has absolutely no relevance on your performance, so welcome to the team. Travel-wise, and where I lived and worked over the years, I had to sometimes be a bit careful. It's difficult. I mean, I'm quite a stubborn person, and the longer I live, the more I really feel it's so important to be true to yourself and not let other people define who you are. You and you only know who you are, and it's very important to live by that, because if you suppress those feelings for too long, they'll always come back. You can't change who you are, and why would you want to? You're beautiful just the way you are. So mostly I really try to be as open as possible, but then of course there are other situations where you have to be a little bit smart as well, like if I'm traveling through the United States Bible Belt, for example, or I find myself in a country that I know to be quite conservative or maybe even militant, then I'll be very careful, because being a transgender individual, if I get caught by the wrong people and I'm alone with them, I might not make it out alive. Like, for example, if I'm somewhere in the strictly Muslim parts of the world and maybe, drive a car there, I would never ever drive drunk, because I would never want to risk being searched by the police, maybe even being strip searched by the police, because it might end with me getting beaten to death in a dark alley, because they will see something they don't understand that will scare them, and they will react or might react violent to it. So I'm always trying to have this balance going between truly being myself, but also being smart about it and not risking my life, because that would do no good to me or to anyone else at this point. So overall, I'm not entirely sure which message I want to give you here. I don't really believe in telling people what to do. I can just tell you a little bit about my experiences. If you want to know more, you can read my life journey. As I mentioned, it's called Paralien. What I do strongly believe in my life, and what I've always tried to do, is to not get life let me down. Well, can't talk anymore, sorry for that. To not let life get me down. And I always try to react with good humor. I always try to look at things positively, overcome difficulties, not let them define me, but rather use them to make me stronger. And I try to communicate with people. I try to have contact with people from all sorts of different backgrounds, learn as much as I can about life, and I will not let myself be defined or limited by any of my background either, because why should there be any reason for those limits? And one thing I can also maybe recommend is look at things globally, I mean, it's a very big planet, and as important as our home is to us, maybe, or to some of us, there's so much out there, and it's a whole world of opportunity, of possibility. Some countries it's really hard to live in if you're any part of the LGBT spectrum. It might be worth even considering to go somewhere else for a while, broaden your horizons, make the world your playground. You can always come back home, try to make a difference there. You can also try to make a difference from afar. There's endless possibilities. Whatever happens, don't let yourself be limited. Enjoy life. It's so much worth living. Thanks for your time, and all the very best. Bye.